What's up, y'all? How we doing? I wanted to make a video today talking about something pretty dark, something pretty emotional. I had a customer, and it was a trip booked by a hospital. I've had several incidents where on Uber, you'll have nursing homes that'll book trips or hospitals that'll book trips for their patients, and I just assumed it was another one of those, picking up somebody from the hospital and taking them to a nursing home or whatever. And I'm always happy to help. What's fucked up is a lot of Uber drivers actually deny these trips because they're usually short trips and you got to put in extra effort. How dare you work at work, right? Through doing so, I have a few elderly people that I've given rides to a bunch and become familiar with, and they're like regulars to me, and I enjoy helping them and doing what I can to make their day a little bit brighter. I picked up this customer, and it was a 20-mile drive, so good news for me. $30 trip right there. She gets in my car, and she turns to me and says, "I just watched my husband blow his brains out tonight." And boy, that shook me to my core. How do you respond to that? And for the entire 20-minute trip, I couldn't think of one positive thing to say. Nothing encouraging, nothing like, "He's in a better place now," bullshit. "I'll be praying for you," bullshit. The fake generic. She started talking and sobbing and then kept apologizing. I was like, don't be sorry, dude. Talk. If you want to talk, I'm right here, And was telling me a little bit about her life and just how it was unexpected that he had showed no signs of anything like that, and then all of a sudden did it, and she's seen it, and she held him and fucking she saw it, man, and she was just crying. She was crying, talking about how she didn't want to go back home, didn't want to go back to that place, but she had to because she had dogs, and that her family was flying in the next day, and I just wanted to be able to, God, somehow uplift her spirit, and I just didn't do it. Because this world is bleak. It was an old woman, and it was such an emotional ride. When we got to her house, she didn't want to get out of my car. And I told her that was fine. So you take as long as you need. You want to talk, you want to do anything, you take as long as you need. I'm right here. And I held her hand for 5 minutes. And she was like, I gotta go. I gotta get out of here. And went inside, and she got out of my car, and she started sobbing, and then she walked inside. And that was it. And the 20-minute car ride home, all I could think about was the fact that I couldn't come up with one single positive thing to say, and how sad that is. couldn't come up with anything. Not everything happens for a reason. You'll get through this. Life gets better. I mean, she's an old lady and she's lost her husband to suicide. What is there to say? Life probably isn't going to get better for her. It's so bleak. And I'm trying not to cry. When she got out of my car, I just started bawling, dude. Because whenever I was holding her hand, you could just feel it. You could just feel the fear, feel the pain. And I told her, you know, I don't know what to say right now, but just know that I do care. And there might be a lot of people that say, I'm sorry and I'm praying for you and whatever. They're generic responses. But just know that from one stranger to another, I care about you. I'm sorry that this happened to you. No human being should have to experience the pain that you are dealing with. And every once in a while we would talk about my daughter and the fact I'm a single dad, but then here I am whining about my problems to somebody dealing with that. And that's kind of what I started thinking about on the way home. It just kind of makes you realize that everybody could be having a worse day than you. So you need to look at the upside. And I am bad at that. One of the reasons why I made this channel was to vent, was to get an outlet, was to get something out there, was to make myself feel better. And you guys have been helping me through that. And I appreciate the kindness and the support that I've been getting. But I am a pessimist. I'm just gonna give it to you straight. I'm known as the grump. I'm negative. I always see the worst outcome because that's how my life has been. I ain't trying to get a pity party. I haven't talked a lot about my life, but I've talked about it some on this channel, and maybe I'll go more in depth in it later on in videos. But my childhood sucked, you know, and my teenage years, for a glimpse in high school, seemed really good. My mom finally found a dude after the 10th try that was worth the shit. The only dude that ever asked me permission to even be with my mom. He was an outstanding man. And I met my high school sweetheart, and we were together for 3 years, and I played soccer, and I had a job, and I was sober. And for a brief moment, I was happy. And then I graduated, and her boyfriend got sick with COPD. And I watched him go from being a very healthy and determined man to not being able to get out of bed because he can't breathe. And what did my mom do? Well, she went out and cheated on him, talked about him like he was a baby. She was so shitty to him, and he literally died wanting to take care of her. Every positive male model I've had in my life is dead. My uncle, the only person that I looked up to growing up, a very good man, very kind, very wise, he built his own farm. He owned 60 acres of land and built his own fucking road, you want to talk about a hard worker. Like, my first job was being 13 and mowing lawns for $5 an hour for him on his 60 acres of land. And I used to help him. We would ride four-wheelers and dirt bikes on his land, and we would build trails and shit up through the mountains and whatnot. And we were very close. I lived with them briefly. My mother and me, he had 2 houses on his property that he lived in. And my mother, I, and my sister lived in the other one. And we did live there briefly, I want to say for about a year. And then I got sent off to rehab at 14. And my aunt passed away. Suddenly. Suddenly without any warning. Just had a heart attack, died. And my uncle, I was able to get out of rehab for I don't know remember what they called it, like a stupid, pass or whatever to go basically home for a week. And you had all these rules you had to follow and shit. Basically to attend her funeral. And it was my, aunt. And, this was my uncle's second wife that died. His first one killed herself, and then he got with my aunt and married his way into my family. And they were together for over a decade, and she died suddenly. And on this trip, I seen him, and the last thing he said to me was always, keep your head up. Always stay strong. And then a month later, that motherfucker hung himself. The strongest man I knew up to that point. And that's the day I got out of rehab. Because I was supposed to graduate that week anyway. But because of this tragedy, they just decided to let me out a couple days early. And I actually went and spoke at a treatment center that night, because after you have X amount of sobriety days under your belt, you can go to other rehab centers and share your story for an hour. And that night, I actually went and shared a story as a 15-year-old in front of a bunch of 30-year-old addicts. And talked about my uncle, talked about being sober, and how instead of going out and getting fucked up, here I am, talking to you guys. Losing my uncle was hard. My mom was never really worth the shit, and all the guys that she introduced me to weren't really worth the shit. My uncle, he was somebody good, and he was just an outstanding, strong man. And to see him give up to a 15-year-old me was devastating. And then, my mother met her boyfriend that in high school. Circling back to that, in high school, like I said, things briefly seemed okay. Then I graduated, and then my high school sweetheart dumped me because I was controlling, because I was insecure that she was over at a dude's house doing homework, and then she fucked him the next day after dumping me. Right, controlling. It's not insecure if you're right. I was in no way the greatest partner to her. I'm not gonna go down that road right now, but yeah, I got dumped. My mom's boyfriend died. I was 18, so I moved the fuck out. Just started couch surfing because I couldn't stand being around my mother. And then my sister got taken away by our cousins, and rightfully so, because my mom was twacked the fuck out. She was using meth, selling it out of my old bedroom whenever I moved out. So I went from being on top of the world to, in the first time of my life, living in a decent sized home, having a girlfriend, having a family, to nothing once again. When I was 18, I was on my own all of a sudden. Next thing I knew, I was on my own. And the only life lessons on how to make it I got from my mother were bounce from dude to dude. I can't do that. I'm a guy. I gotta figure it out otherwise. And I have a little sister that I protected from a lot of bullshit that I don't think she remembers from her abusive exes. And my sister's actually in a university. I couldn't be more proud of her. And she's honestly the ultimate success story. You know, she might be the one of us that breaks the cycle. I barely scrape by, man, and she might actually go places, and I fucking love that for her. Because I was my mother's punching bag. It's like my mom hated me. She had me when she was 15, and it's like she fucking hated me. You know, like I made straight A's in high school and played sports and worked 3 days a week. And she would still just not be happy with me. But that's because I seen how she was treating that's because I seen how she treated the good guys and all the shit she had done to me up to that point, and I just wanted to get away from her. So at 18, I left my little sister behind, and she became the punching bag, and she got taken away. And it's one of my biggest regrets. Because I was the only thing. I was the only safety net for her. But now she's in a university, and she's making it. You know, she's getting through life one day at a time like I am. This customer just really made me start thinking about mortality as a whole. And what blows my mind is I'm the same age now that my mother was when she went to high school. When I went to high school, I mean. I'm about to turn 28. So, yeah, she's 15 years older than me. When I was 13, she was 28. And I'm now her age. And she's had a stroke, and now she's a vegetable. And it's wild to think about that I'm at that age now. And I'm an adult. I'm this almost 30-year-old adult who has no idea what the fuck I'm doing. From 18 to 22, 21. God damn, how old am I? 28. So from 18 to 23, I was a day drunk. I sat there and I wallowed in self-pity, and I went nowhere. And then, you know, I went through my hoe phase, you could call it, where I was just sleeping with random women and drinking and got all my teeth ripped out because of periodontal disease. My mom, all of her teeth went by her 20s, and mine started going one by one, and I started getting prescribed Pert 10s for 6 months. And this was right out of high school, like right when I was 18. I got prescribed Pert 10s for 6 months, and then just suddenly taken off of them. No weaning off, no nothing. And to this day, that is why I'm on Subutex. From something that's happened almost 10 years ago. And I finally had these drugs beat, because opiates were always my thing. And I finally had them out of my life. My brain had finally recovered. And after taking these for so long and then suddenly not having them, of course, I think you can piece together the rest of what happened. I started drinking if I couldn't get pills, and then would desperately try to get pills or do kratom or poppy seed tea, any fucking alternative, until I found tianeptine. And boy, it's gas station heroin. Don't touch it. My advice to anybody out there watching this video, do not touch tianeptine unless you take it every other fucking day and you take one. You take one pill every other day. You do not touch more than that because this shit has a half-life of 4 hours, and the next time you take it, your tolerance needs double the amount, and it's $40 a bottle. So I was at a point to where, and the withdrawals are worse than heroin, and that's what led me to getting on Subutex for the last 4 years. But it just made me reflect on my life a little bit and how negative I am. And how I always see the worst in things, and always expect the worst in things, and always complain and mope and act like the world's shitting on me instead of appreciating each moment that I have and remembering that it could always be worse. And I want to turn that around. I want to start being a more positive person. And maybe these videos will help me do that. Maybe being an outlet and you know, I don't know. I just know that this little girl needs me. And I'm already getting gray hairs. It's the reason why I shaved the sides of my head. And the Subutex and the Kratom's leading gastrointestinal issues. I've caught in COVID 4 times and it's destroyed my lungs. And basically, stress has been all that I've known, and I'm worried. I'm worried, man. And my grandmother is the only person I have to fall back on. And she's going to be 90 when Persephone is 20. She'll only have me, so I have to start turning things around. I have to start not being stressed the fuck out all the time. But how do you not be stressed out all the fucking time when you're working all goddamn day every day to just barely fucking scrape by, to barely pay the bills, and then you get home and you got 30 minutes to yourself to sit there and enjoy the fruits of your labor, and then you got to say goodnight. Like, there's got to be more to life than that. How do you not be stressed out all the fucking time if that's what being an adult is? And the shit my ex-wife put me through would make most people crack. I mean, I might sound crazy whenever I say that's how murder-suicides happen, but it is. A woman sitting here cheating on you and then abusing you for years and then turning around and playing victim and then fucking getting a protective order and lying and getting you kicked out of your apartment, moving dude in. There's not a lot of people that could fucking handle that mentally, and I did it. I dealt with it because I knew if I did anything stupid, I would lose that little girl, and I remained calm. And sure enough, what happened? If it wasn't for her, you bet your bottom fucking dollar, dude, I would have lost it. Because the last 4 years of my life, she saved my life, flat out. I'll be honest with you guys, Persephone saved me. I needed something. I needed something to kick my ass in gear, and whenever I knocked out my ex-wife, that did it. Because if I can at least care about her, that gives me purpose. But I need to start caring about myself too. Because in order to care for her, I need to be here. And I never have. And as much as I complain and as much as I bitch and as grumpy as I am, I guess that customer was just a reminder that it could always be worse, and that each day you really need to make the most of it. But I don't know. Being positive is so much easier said than done. You know, I've successfully weaned myself down to 1 pill a day on Subutex. I talked about that in my videos like a week ago, that I was trying to go from 1.5 to 1. So I cut my dose down by a third. I successfully did it. It definitely was not easy. Not gonna lie, I definitely noticed it. Now that I'm at 1, the next step is getting used to that and then going to 0.75, then a half, then 0.25, then maybe even a tenth, and then off. But then the brain, see, the brain on opiates, man, it literally thinks it's gonna die without it. It takes 2 years for your brain to fully recover. I'm not worried about the cravings. I have cravings every day. I mean, dude, I'm always gonna have cravings. That's just how it is. It's the mental, I feel like shit. Like, I feel like I literally can't, like, I can't explain the feeling. The physical and mental symptoms of withdrawing from the shit is just too fucking much to bear. And that's why I'm on the meds. But I want to start being positive, and the whole point in me making these videos, if by the off chance I were to ever grow, is I want to be a positive influence. And yeah, I do think that some of that includes including some of these political topics that I've talked about, because I do think that voicing these level-headed things, opinions, are important. Do you think it's important to be a voice of reason? Sure, these political videos might be viewed as negative, but they serve a purpose, and calling out shitty people like Jack the Douchebag and Sneeko and these fake wannabe alpha males that do nothing but influence our youth to be horrible. I feel like, yeah, you might ask, who am I to cast judgment upon people like that when you don't even know me yourself? What I do know is I'm a good fucking person. I use a turn signal at 3 a.m. in a parking lot. I do the right thing when no one's looking, even if it seems like the world still shits on me. I always do what is right. And, so yeah, that's why I think I get to cast judgment on these douchebags. Because they clearly have no empathy for anybody but them fucking selves, and they're a bunch of wannabe pansies, and they influence young people in a bad way, and that pisses me off. There needs to be more of us out there for little boys and little girls to look up to that actually have a fucking brainstem and have values to teach. And through all the shit I've been through, I definitely have some wisdom to be taught. And I definitely have wisdom to teach. Maybe not after that sentence, but my point is, man, is time is going by so fast. When you're having a bad day, know that you're not alone. And know that somebody out there is having a worse fucking day. I know that that isn't the ultimate end all to... That's not an ultimate excuse to always be in a good mood and to not be upset at things. Right? But whenever me and this woman were talking and I was sitting here complaining about being a single dad, I couldn't help but just feel like an asswipe for even trying to act like what I'm dealing with is an issue compared to what she's dealing with. I don't know. Just made me think a lot about how I perceive life and how bleak it is. It really is. I couldn't think of one positive thing to say, man, other than just hold her fucking hand. And I want to help people. I feel like that's what I was put on this earth to do. I bought this computer, this stupid fucking iMac, to make videos and to do good. And somehow, some way, it's reaching people. I'm being told I'm doing a good job. I'm being encouraged, and it means a lot. And I'm happy that I'm able to make these videos. I'm happy that someone out there might see this one day and resonate with it and feel a little bit better. I want to help people, man. I want to help our youth. I want to help outweigh the unkindness and the idiots out there, man, and level the fucking playing field. Because people like Sneeko, people like Jack, they shouldn't have a fucking platform. They have no business influencing anybody. They should read a fucking book and lock themselves away in a fucking house to just stare in a goddamn mirror and jerk off all goddamn day because they're so fucking self-obsessed and so goddamn delusional that they really think they're the shit. When you gotta watch your own girlfriend get plowed by another dude, I gotta tell you, man, your whole alpha fucking thing, so fake, it's so see-through, you're probably gay. No shame. Ain't hating on that. Just saying. I would bet $1 million Sneeko is gay. I've said it in another video. I'm going to say it again in this random, dark, depressing video. Motherfucker is gay. I know it. Sexuality is a spectrum. Nobody is 100% straight. Nobody is 100% gay. And those who overcompensate seem to lean a little more on the other side, which is fine. But stop overcompensating, man. You'd be a lot happier. Anyway, I just appreciate just even having the opportunity to have my voice be heard, I suppose. And if you get anything from this 30-minute sad rant, just sometimes life really does seem like it's hopeless, yet we carry on. And I want to help be a reason for why somebody carries on, you know? I don't know how to make that make any sense. I haven't been streaming on Twitch that much lately because I'm starting to just be so disgusted with Fortnite. I would like to be able to watch stuff and stream. And unfortunately, because I got an iMac, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, feel free, but I don't think I can. I don't think I can stream myself, have me in the corner, and watch videos and browse the web live on stream. I would have to buy an adapter, first of all, and then camera and microphone, I believe. And then maybe I could, but I don't know. The iMac seems overly complicated, despite it being overly fucking priced. I'm never buying an Apple product again. When my iPhone goes out, I'm switching to a Google Pixel. I should have got a PC. For the price I paid for this computer, I could have gotten a badass setup. Instead, I got this stupid PC that I can't fucking Bluetooth the controller to and play Fortnite. It's fucking stupid. Because that's how I was gonna stream. And nope, can't do that. Can't Bluetooth. Nope. Not on Apple. Jesus Christ, man. Live every day to the fullest, you know? Try to appreciate each moment. Time fucking flies. I can't believe I'm the same age my mother was when I was in high school. And I feel like I've wasted so much of that time. The last 4 years I've put to good use, but that 6 years that I just sat there feeling sorry for myself doing nothing. While most people that age are off at universities, going to college, doing shit, furthering their lives, I was doing nothing. I was standing still. I attended college briefly, but I dropped out. Lesson of the day, man. Hold your loved ones close. Appreciate the moment, because you'll never be in this moment again. And always remember your day could be worse. And God, man, I just, dealing with her made me so sad. I couldn't imagine. I couldn't fucking imagine. And I wish I could help, and I just felt so helpless. But maybe I can help somebody here, you know? Anyway, thank you for watching.